Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I'd like to introduce Sebastian, my TA, who's going to share the screen here. I just prepared just a few slides. Mostly it's to help you understand what we cover in this particular module. And then I will invite one of the students who just finished the module to share her learning journey. Then I'll open up for Q&A. All right. So this is InnoVenture Leadership and Design Challenge, EG2603. So maybe we'll do the next slide. So what is InnoVenture? So it's about creating future engineering leaders. We really focus a lot on soft skills development and the business know-how value creation. And I'll weave that into the pedagogical design on how we do this. It's a very experiential learning module, meaning there are some lectures. Every time we get together, there's a set of lectures, but really it's about you applying the framework. And then starting with session 2, you have to report back and really hone in on presentation skills, how you present the information, how do you create the insights. So we really spend a lot of time mentoring you in understanding how to present the business information of innovations, particularly those that's with the foundation in engineering and technology. Okay, so what we'll do in this class is, unlike other entrepreneurship classes where the students are coming up with your own ideas and figuring things out, what we do is we actually go out to startups and other new ventures that are at the very, very early stage of their developments. So for us to source their projects so that you can work with them to look at how do you validate that such a market demand or business model innovation is needed. So we're really testing innovation, and we do this through a lot of primary research. We're sending you out as a team to go out and talk to stakeholders. Sebastian, maybe the next slide. So some key information you'll see on the right-hand side. First of all, the good news is no exams. Okay, that's the good news. But on the other hand, because there are no exams, there's quite a bit of what we call field work. So if you're not comfortable with going out there talking to stakeholders to do primary market research, and you prefer to just stay in your lab or in a classroom only, then this is not the module for you. But if on the other hand, you want to start learning how do you work with stakeholders to co-develop or co-define what an innovative product or a new offering is, then and learn the business skills around that, then you should come into this class. So much of what we do is around validating whether or not this problem statement that comes from one of the startup companies is either there's a market demand for it, or the business model they're thinking of is that it would work, that customers would purchase, or whether or not there's is the technology feasible to create this product they're looking for, and whether or not the product would the product validation, whether or not the product they envision would have a customer need. So there's a lot of validation work, a lot of hypothesis testing. At the end, you have to pitch this either to investors or pitch it to the CEOs who's sponsoring this project. Okay, so next slide. So this is the course roadmap laid out on one page. There are 12 lectures, sessions, the 13th one being the final presentation, where you present your final set of decks at a graduation ceremony. But let's go ahead and go through the individual sessions. So they're all on Wednesday afternoons, 3:30 to 6:30, or is it 3 to 6? Anyway, so lecture 1, we talk about what are the projects, and I'll talk a little bit about that later, but you'll be put in a team, 3 to 4 to a team, assigned to a project, and we'll match you on lecture 1. So I will invite all the CEOs and company sponsors to come in and talk about their project, and we'll match you to the best we can. All right. We'll also do some behavioral psychometrics sort of survey, so you kind of get to know yourself. We run this thing called entrepreneur attitude orientation for you to understand who you are, um, and big five traits. So there's a little bit of discovery of your own traits and the way you think. In lecture two, we go straight into value proposition design, designing a new future. We use theory of constraints to sort of anchor what we do in lecture two. Starting in lecture two, you're starting to have to do work after every lecture and then to report back. So lecture three, you're now reporting back on what you did for lecture two based on the framework. And then I teach on qualitative customer interviews. What do you have to do to validate your assumptions? You have to go out and validate and talk to customers. Lecture four, you report back. Then I'll teach about the next set of framework, which is the first customer, the beachhead market, the job to be done. How do you do basic competitive analysis? Then lecture five, again, you report back. And then I talk about, uh, we give you a template for you to put together a presentation of your value proposition validation. Then in lecture six, what happens is we send you off to talk to give a mid-interim report to the CEOs at their site. So this includes a site visit for you to talk to the CEOs um, and really understand their business, okay? Then lecture seven, by the way, throughout lectures one, all these lectures, the CEOs are involved in some of the lectures to be involved with you. So it's not just lecture six, they're involved in lecture one. There's one other lecture in between they are involved, and then you spend a lot of time with them in lecture six, okay? And then later on, between lecture 7 to lecture 12, you're also involved with them. We also have mentors, peer mentoring assigned, so there'll be a lot of coaching and guidance along the way. Starting lecture 7, we're going to move you into quantitative validation. So that means we teach you things like growth hacking, uh, quantitative validation in terms of survey, landing page design, how do you build a minimum viable product. Lecture 8, we're talking about business model, building a business model canvas. Lecture 9, I talk about go-to-market, beginning of marketing, putting it all together. Then lecture 10 is about your presentation skills, how do you pitch. Lecture 11, it's about insight unit, looking at the data from all of your validation work to make some conclusions. Lecture 12 is we coach you on your presentation, and then finally lecture 13 is final presentation. So in addition to a lot of business frameworks and understanding of how do you analyze an innovative opportunity, you also put through a lot of field work, a lot of in presentations, a lot of communication training. Okay, so I think here, let me pause here and maybe invite one of our students from the last, just finished this past term, to um, share, and then I'll go back to the rest of the slide. Nicole, are you here?
Yeah. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, maybe we can highlight on you. Maybe you can stop sharing so we can see everybody. Um, okay.
Can everyone see me?
Yeah. Hi, Nicole. Thank you.
Oh, all right. So I was a student last semester under Prof. Cha, and I was under a company called Lathicont that works with reefer containers and radiant cooling and that sort of thing. And so if you join this class, then you will learn about your prospective industry like the back of your hand. And so that's really interesting, especially if you don't have any background knowledge about that area. And even if you aren't an engineering student, it's very doable, especially since I'm a international student on exchange. And because of COVID, I'm currently in Japan. But even with us as a student like myself who has absolutely no background knowledge in engineering, I still found it really fun, especially since you can rely on your group members to have your back. So even where you might fall, your group members will pick you right back up. And this class is really, it's a really safe environment to make mistakes, a lot of mistakes. So even if you fail in presenting for 1 week, then as long as you pay attention to what your peers say and what Prof. Cha says, then you can definitely pick yourself back up and do even better than you can, so that you're really well prepared for week 13. And yeah, I guess you also learn soft skills. So like being really flexible and thinking outside of the box and not being trapped in like a single solution for like the business model, as well as also learn to pay attention and take notes while at the same time not taking notes and still be able to quickly recall things, which will be really important if you decide to be in a workplace in the future. And yeah, your mentors will definitely help you out. Even your CEO that you will work under will be friendly to you and will probably help you out even outside of the class. So they'll probably give you their contact number so that you can always bounce ideas off of them.
So
Yeah.
maybe you can share, Nicole, how does this module compare to other modules you've taken in terms of learning outcome?
It's definitely more fun, and it's more memorable in a sense that you don't have to sit in a class and just listen to the professor drone on and on and on about something that you will forget about in a week once the course is over. And so this course is super helpful in that way, and you will remember a lot of the things that you will go through over the course.
Thanks, Nicole. But I'm sure our professors don't drone, right?
Most of them. I know some of my professors in Japan do drone on and on.
Okay, you're very cute. Maybe I allow the students, the potential students, ask you any questions, or if you're not comfortable asking out loud, then throw into chat, and Nicole is happy to answer it while I go on to the rest of the presentation. So I invite you to go into chat and ask Nicole questions. Just post it to everyone so that Nicole can take a look at it. Okay, Sebastian, can you share screen again and go to the next slide? Okay, so we will divide you into teams, but we don't assign them. So we kind of let you self-organize. And that's the whole learning from the whole class. I don't tell you specifically what you need to do. I offer you the objective and the outcome, and I give you frameworks, but I don't tell you today you will do ABC, tomorrow you will do that. I give you framework. So you have a lot of choices, you need to make decisions, okay? So you will divide amongst yourselves, decide on which company. We'll have to do our best job matching, of course, if everybody wants the same project. You will work with the company sponsor for the entire semester. You won't see them you'll probably see them 3 to 4 times on Zoom or in real life during the 13 weeks, but not every week. But the mentors also come around probably more than half of the time. So you'll be working with a lot of people coaching you and guiding you, okay? Next slide.
Virginia, there's a question from Christy Peng.
Okay. I can't see the chat right now. Okay.
Christy, would you like to speak? I think she lowered it, and I think you can continue.
Oh, she accidentally pressed the high five. So Christy, you do not have a question. So if you guys have questions, please, put into the chat. Nicole is ready to help to answer any questions. Okay, so this past time we have 5 projects. Dyson, TagVans, which is an IoT company for the maritime industry. We have Kipio, which is a smart lock company. Hook Coffee, which is a local coffee company. We've done Grab. We've also done Lethicon, Technologies, which is Nicole's company, but we couldn't find the logo. That's the one with the radiant cooling. Okay, next. So we did this. Okay, so let me just talk briefly. We're in the middle of sourcing projects and in the final phases of talking to the CEOs. But essentially, we have the following projects on the pipeline. We have 2 drone projects. One has to do with construction, agriculture in Australia, but the founders are right now in Singapore. They are MBA students at NUS. When they graduate, they plan to go start this business, but it's an IoT business. A second company is an existing IoT startup already in business, revenue producing, is in a maritime industry using drones to do maintenance and so forth in ships, okay, in vessels. We have 2 projects related to engineering recycling. One is recycling silver from waste materials like electronic waste. Another one is looking at solar panels at the end of life. What do we do with them? Is there a market demand for the components? Is solving that problem? And is it financially sustainable to do so? So with that project, we also have potentially another beverage company project. Tea, this time is tea, not coffee. Okay. Did I miss out anything, Sebastian? Is there another company?
There's one that came in recently. It's about the CPR training technology. It's from
right. I'm sorry. Thank you. You're right. Thank you for the reminder. There's a project that came in for using AR, VR for CPR training. Okay, on feasibility of using this technology to where not the customers would use it. Okay, so these are the projects that's coming in, and even if you don't fall in love with the idea, that's not the point of this class. The point of this class is to teach you how to take an innovative opportunity and take it through the process of validating whether or not this is a opportunity that can be profitable in a business. So that's what this module is all about. Okay, so I'll stop here and let you ask me any questions. Are there any questions from anyone? A little bit about myself while we're waiting for questions to come in. I'm the adjunct professor at NUS Business School. So I specialize in teaching technology commercialization and entrepreneurship. I've been teaching entrepreneurship for quite almost over a decade now. I teach MBA and EMBA, and this is my one and only undergraduate module, and I'm really pleased about that because I love teaching undergrads. Very learning oriented. I just love it. Okay. Any questions? Maybe you can stop sharing. Any questions for Nicole? Anybody? Quiet group, huh?
Yes.
Very.
Yes.
You might get questions by email, so
okay,
we redirect.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate this. Thank you. Okay.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Nicole. You take care. Stay in touch, okay?
Definitely.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, here's the question.
Okay.
Do we need to choose companies based on those projects?
Yeah, so the projects are pre-sourced, and so you have to choose the project based on those companies, both based on what we source. So you don't get to do your own idea. You have to use one of these. And the advantage is you don't waste any time coming up with ideas and feasible. So these are already projects that we source, and people want to do these projects or are already in the middle of this project. So it's about you're focusing on learning validation and taking an idea and analyzing it. So and so it's good because you would not fall into what we call confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is when usually entrepreneurs, when you come up with your own idea, you fall in love with it. And so when you go out and talk to customers, you end up just filtering only the information you want to hear. So we find that this to be a good method to teach students how to really evaluate information very objectively. Okay, other questions? Okay, very good. In that case, back to you.